Hey, y'all, listen, my computer trying to act up. I don't know if it's my computer or live stream, but you know what, we here. We in the building. It's Wednesday. It's Trending Topics. It's already November the 12th. You know what? I might do a special day before a Turkey Day show. Maybe that show has to be special. Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll talk about, what we're thankful and grateful for. Maybe I'll do that on that Wednesday. I'm going to see, because I don't do the cooking in my family. Going to my sister's house, and I just got to make a nice salad, and I make some iced tea, and I'm bringing some salmon this Thanksgiving. That's all I'm doing. So it don't take me long to shimmy shake that together. So maybe we'll have a nice Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving Day show. Okay, maybe we'll do that. Lizzie, I saw your message in the chat, and amen, and to God be the glory that perhaps next week you will be back to work. We over the shutdown. Enough is enough already. And I'm glad to see that there are some people that are getting their SNAP benefits. And now you're saying some people are about to go back to work. So happy about that. But listen, people, it's Wednesday night. It's Trending Topics. We got stuff to talk about. And, every now and then we have a show called Family Matters. Family Matters. So tonight, this story was special to me because, when I worked in the hospital, I did pediatric nursing. And this one, a toddler died because the doctor missed a decimal on his prescription, his medication, and it was too much. He went into cardiac arrest, and he's gone. And the mother is suing, rightfully so, because I know one thing for sure. That mother would rather have her child than the money, but since she lost her child, then y'all got to pay. Now, when I worked in the hospital, we did 12-hour shifts. When I first started, I worked 7 p.m. at night to 7 a.m. in the morning. Shout out to the people that got that shift because it ain't easy. It's a rough shift, especially if you're not a night person, and I ain't a night person. But then I only did that shift for 1 year, and then I had the morning shift, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at night. And I told, you know what, you could ask any of my friends. They didn't really see me. I wasn't at a whole lot of parties. I missed a whole lot of holidays. And that was one job where I did not play around with my sleep. Why? Because somebody's life was in my hands. Somebody's child life was in my hands. And what happens is when the doctor writes an order, it goes to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy is the next check on that order. And then if the pharmacy didn't catch it, you, the nurse, before you administer it, you better catch it. Or you going down because you are the one that actually gave the wrong dose. You administered it. So, and with pediatrics, unlike adults for a lot of medications, there's a standard dose. They got a headache, they'll give them 650 of Tylenol, whatever. It's standard doses. But for kids, all of their doses are based on their weight. So you are forever doing a math problem when it comes to kids. It's no standard doses. How much do they weigh? In the pediatric unit, every single morning, the kids got bathed and they got weighed, and we weighed them with no clothes on. Why? Because their medication is based upon the weight. And you don't want to overdose no kid. They got little reserve. So how did this doctor make a mistake and was off a whole decimal and gave this kid too much medication that it went into cardiac arrest? There's certain professions, when you sign up for them, you indirectly, the fine print is you signing part of your life away. Why do I say that? Because if you're a doctor and you on call, you can't be out partying and drinking, because at any given second, you could get a phone call talking about, come in, we need you for emergency surgery, and you can't be drunk. You may get an emergency call, come on, we need you. You can't be half sleepy and tired. Why? Because you got somebody's life in your hands. And the last thing you want is to be telling a family member, oops, your loved one is dead because I was sleepy. It's not a joke. And I took that responsibility. I wasn't playing. I got my sleep. I ain't go nowhere because you can't. Listen, people, we're going to talk about the Toddler. May he rest in peace. No longer here because the doctor messed up and gave him too much medication. We're going to talk about it. And you know what? Shout out to the parents who, when their kids talk and speak to them and say there's a problem, they listen. This kid, he went to the teacher to tell the teacher he was being bullied. You know what? These teachers, some of these teachers now, they ain't built for nothing. They don't need to be teaching. Soon we're going to have robots, the AI robots teaching our kids. At least they won't be touching on our kids, cursing out our kids, hopefully, sleeping with our kids. You know, some people are afraid of the AI, but I'm starting to think, you know what, bring the AI in because these human beings is acting a straight fool. He went to the teacher to let the teacher know he was being bullied, and the teacher said, well, it's your fault. The teacher blamed the kid, talking about the way the kid walk and talk, and that's why he's being bullied. That teacher is trash. And do you know what, these schools, they don't want to do nothing until you make it public. Then all of a sudden they looking into it. They don't tolerate this. They don't tolerate that. They didn't want to pay the mother no attention until the mother went to the news and the social media. That's why now you want justice. Turn on your TikTok and your Instagram and your YouTube and ask the people to keep sending it around and make it go viral, and then maybe they'll listen to you. Teachers trash. We're going to talk about it. Tonight's title is Family Matters. And then we got this last one, is Evil Plot Exposed. I will never understand how people think taking someone's life because they sit there, their back is up against the wall, is going to, like, how they going to win from that. This man was accused of touching a young girl. The case was going to the courthouse. He tells his cousin, I pay you $5,000 to unalive her. The cousin does it, and now both of them doing life behind bars. I don't understand it. I don't understand how the cousin, $5,000? You willing to take a life over $5,000? I mean, to be willing to take somebody's life, period, is crazy to me. But you willing to take somebody's life for some $5,000? Let me be clear here. I don't care if you got coupons, you go on the sale day, you using discounts. $5,000, you blink your eyes and it's gone. Period. Period. So you're going to take a life in this digital age. In this digital age, it's not a matter of if they're going to find you. It's just a matter of when will they find you. Because we are a walking tracker. If you got a cell phone, you're being tracked. Even when you're in a car, your cell phone is hitting, the ping is hitting your cell phone while you're driving by these different towers. So they know all my business. They know when I left my house today that I went to the True Food Kitchen, I did this, I did that, and wherever else I was, and then I came home. If something goes down, they know that already. They know when I'm on my little computer here. They know. And then there's different things in your house that they know when you touch it and all of this other stuff, especially if you still got the cable TV. Diva turned on her TV and was watching Netflix at 8:10 p.m. And she was watching being Eddie Murphy. If you think you're not going to get caught, you a dummy. Not getting nobody. No, you can't give me $5, $10, a nickel, a dollar, a dime. I don't want $1 million. I don't want your money. And a matter of fact, now that I know you that crazy, I'm blocking your number and deleting it. I don't want no parts of you. And then you gonna forever have over my head that I took a life for you and you gave me $5K. No, I'm good. You better get somebody else to do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to go down to the police station and tell them you trying to get somebody to take that girl's life, because I don't want them to come to me and think no. But we're going to talk about it, people. Tonight's title is called Family Matters. Y'all know what time it is because I done talked enough. It's time to bring the people on in the building. I need a one in the chat. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Family Matters. We got the toddler that lost his life, okay? Because the doctor messed up. In this digital day and age, the doctor messed up on the dosage. I mean, could they not? That doctor couldn't get AI to help him? A fellow co-doctor double-check this dose? Teacher blamed the student for being bullied, and we got this evil murder plot. Now, come on now. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Felicia. Hey, Julius. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, y'all, hit the like button.
Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and get right into this story, and I guess we'll do the Florida boy, the toddler first. It's just thank you, stay at home mom. I'm trying to let it do what it do here. We're going to see how long this goes with my hair. I'm trying to let it do what it do. Okay. So a tot died of a massive heart attack after the doc accidentally missed a decimal, giving him 10 times his prescription doses, the lawsuit states. And my Katrina, I see you having trouble getting in because it keeps saying your device is not connected. A 2-year-old boy died in a Florida hospital after the doctor negligently deleted a decimal point in his prescription, resulting in the underweight toddler receiving 10 times the doses of medicine he should have, a lawsuit alleges. DeMarcus Page tragically overdosed with potassium on March 3rd, 2024, causing him to suffer a massive brain injury and forcing him to spend the next 2 weeks enduring an horrific and protracted hospital course on a ventilator before finally being taken off of life support, according to a lawsuit filed by his mother last week. Mom Dominique Page is suing University of Florida Health and its Shands teaching hospital and clinics, as well as the medical staff she claims fumbled his treatment, including taking 20 minutes to intubate him after he went into a cardiac arrest. Okay. Achula County Circuit Court lawsuit alleges. May DeMarcus rest in peace. DeMarcus, who was suspected, hold on one second, guys. DeMarcus, who was suspected of having some level of autism and was a picky eater, first landed in Advent Health Ocella Hospital on March 1st, 2024, with a virus and dangerously low levels of potassium, Lauren Crime first reported, citing the suit. He was given intravenous fluids to help his low electrolyte levels, and the next morning transferred to Shands Teaching Hospital and clinics in Gainesville, Florida, in order to receive the higher level of care he required. The suit claims. Hold on one second, guys. Shands medical staff found DeMarcus weighed just 21 pounds, or or the 30th percentile of weight for his demographic, and he still had low levels of potassium, the court papers explained. So the boy was given electrolyte replacement therapy, but the next day, Dr. Jai Shin unconscionably ordered the boy to be given 10 times the level ordered the previous day, which had been calculated based on his size, weight, and the day's lab results, the following alleges. Chen erratically ordered the extremely high dose, deleting a critical decimal point in the prior day's dosage of 1.5, now ordering the liquid supplement to be given at 15, twice a day, the suit claims. This on top of the two other forms of potassium DeMarcus was already receiving through IV and Pedialyte, the following charges. No one else on the medical team. No one else on the medical team. This is dreadful. Nor the pharmacist caught the error, despite a red flag warning in the hospital's pharmacy system that alerted them to the excessive doses, the court documents claim. So the toddler received 2 of the excessive doses, the last being administered at 8:28 p.m. on March 3rd, 2024, the suit alleges. And by 9:02 p.m., he went into cardiac arrest caused by the overdose or hyperkalemic cardiac arrest, the suit alleges. But the staff bungled their response and carried out 2 to 3 botched attempts to intubate DeMarcus, the court documents claim. And there was at least 20 minutes that had passed since the cold blue was called, during the time he remained severely deprived of oxygen necessary to sustain the life, the suit alleges. Now, when I was working in the hospital, cold blue was for adults and cold white was for pediatric patients. What is going on at this facility? DeMarcus' heart eventually spontaneously came back, but the anoxic damage already done to his brain and other vital organs was catastrophic, the suit says. When his blood was drawn, they found elevated potassium and phosphate, the following claims. DeMarcus was kept alive for the next 2 weeks while enduring seizures and battling a myriad of ICU-related complications before he was taken off life support on March 18, 2024, the following charges. Dominique of Marion County, Florida, is suing Shands and University of Florida for at least $50,000 under wrongful death claims and related claims for the pain her son suffered and for the loss of companionship of her minor child and for mental pain and suffering she endured. That ain't enough money if you ask me. The Page family lawyer, Jordan Ducey, called the hospital and his doctor's actions grossly negligent and said they failed the basic standards of medical care. No parent should have to use a child like this, the lawyer continued. What the family has endured is unimaginable, and the worst part is that it was entirely preventable. The lawyer said he hopes to bring the case to trial to prevent another family from having to go through what Dominique went through. The hospital declined to comment on the case, but said UF Health is committed to protecting the privacy of all patients and their families and follow all state and federal HIPAA regulations. We cannot release information on patients or possible patients and their treatment without consent. Chin didn't immediately return a request for comment on Wednesday. This is so horrific, and I'm just shocked that it's only $50K. Wayne, your thoughts?
I am too, and I'm so sure they're gonna jump on that deal for $50,000.
Yeah.
I don't. Where'd she get her lawyers from? The Dollar Tree.
That part, the trash.
$50,000. I mean, that boy's life is worth way more than $50,000. That's unbelievable. It sounds like nobody wanted to challenge this doctor. All these people, medical people, and nobody caught that. It's almost unforgivable.
It is unforgivable because what happens is after the doctor writes it, it goes to the pharmacy. The pharmacy should have caught it, but the pharmacy ignored it because they said there was red flags in the computer saying this is too high.
Yeah, well, maybe she can get the hospital as well because this is ridiculous. You know, I'm done.
Thank you, Julius. Your thoughts?
50,000 is not enough. Sloppy lawyering, sloppy advocacy, Just sloppy. It should have been more.
Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, hey Diva panel chat. One of the things that I found crazy was that actually like they didn't catch it. Like I know like when I go to the doctor, they're double checking when they come in to ask me stuff, so it's just so sad. I hope she gets everything she deserves but 50,000. Like it makes it seem I don't want to say nothing disrespectful. Just rest in peace to the little boy and everybody that was on that shift. Everybody that had eyes on that chart needs to be fired and held accountable. Lose their license, something like that, because that's just negligence on the 100th power. That's
I
all I got.
agree. No, I totally agree with you. It just doesn't even make any sense. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Deepa, hey panel, hey chat. I'm with you, 48, and with everybody that said something before. And there's no way they didn't realize how many milligrams they was giving this child. I mean, you have to read. I mean, like you said, Diva, the doctor handed some things down. Sometimes he handed down without really, really reading the facts, because people can be allergic to something, but they are still prescribing for that person. And then the pharmacist, they already know this person is allergic, and they're supposed to catch it as well. And so do the nurses and whoever giving out their meds. They're supposed to catch this. They're supposed to see it in their files. They're not supposed to have a red slip there or a yellow yellow band showing what these people are allergic to, and it should be double checked and given a person this small that amount of electrolytes and potassium chloride, whatever they was giving him. That's ridiculous. That stuff is lethal. It's totally lethal, and it causes heart attacks, just like too much caffeine causes heart attacks. You go get these energy drinks and all that type of stuff, they cause all type of effects in your body, especially if a person got diabetes and all this other stuff, high blood pressure. You take them, keep drinking all those energy drinks, and it will blow out your heart. So rest in peace to the little young man. Hey, he's gone, and no, 50,000 is not enough for my baby to be put away for something that y'all could have prevented. That's all I got.
Yeah. In my opinion, your thoughts?
The healthcare system is failing us
Mm.
in a major way. I've noticed the care that you get from an emergency room versus your primary care is vastly different. And we got to say it like it is. You're getting paid to take care of these patients. And if you don't feel obligated to do the job, stay your tail at home.
That part.
This doctor, whatever he is, he was negligent. And he should be locked up for negligent homicide because that's what he did. He neglected this child and gave him 10 times the dosage. Not 2 times, 10 times. He signed, sealed, and delivered his sentence. And it was unaliving. So I don't want just the money, because the money is not going to replace this lady's baby. I want this doctor held accountable. I want the nursing staff that administer this medicine to be held accountable too, whether it's a suspension or a firing or reteaching. This is a teaching hospital and this is what y'all doing? And you supposed to be the best? That lady was better where she was in the first place. I'm telling you, these people do not care anymore. And that's bad business when you supposed to be saving lives and you taking them.
I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and I just don't understand.
Diva, breaking news.
Yes, talk to me. Go ahead.
The government shutdown is now over. They just voted. The vote was 222 to 209.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, this story really touched my heart because I really don't understand how it happened. when these medications are supposed to go through so many levels so that this does not happen. And the fact that it didn't, no one caught this, and he got 2 doses, not one. Even after the first dose, nobody caught it, and he got another dose. I feel so bad for this kid. This is super sad. It's just unbelievable. Super sad and unbelievable. I'm gonna go ahead and roll into the next story. May he rest in peace. I feel like they should be suing for millions. I don't know where the $50,000 came from, unless it's just something that we don't know. Like, unless there's something just missing from this story that we don't know about. But either way, very sad. I'm going to roll into the next story where the teacher blamed the kid for being bullied, which is ridiculous.
And came home from school crying, saying the Richmond mother says her 9-year-old son came home from school crying, saying the person that he trusted the most in class is the one who hurt him.
KPRC 2 News reporter Ricky Munoz has the story that's now sparked an investigation.
Shy Jones says that her son has been bullied for months. When Chance went up to his teacher and asked for help, he says that she made him feel smaller than ever.
I was arguing with the little boy and he was calling me gay, so I went to go tell the teacher, and she was like saying that, well, the reason why people are calling you gay is because of this. And I really got sad and angry, and I went in the corner, I started crying. She said, do you know why I said that? I'm like, no. And she was like, the reason why I said that is because you walk this way and you being silly.
Chance is 9 years old. His mom says for weeks, other students mocked how he walks and talks. She says each time she asked for help, nothing changed.
He held his composure all through school, but the moment he got inside of the house and closed the door, he just broke down. The administration just told me that they would investigate it. The teacher, on the other hand, just told me, and kind of like in a condescending way, like, I already talked to Chance. I already apologized to him.
How do you feel when they tell you that?
I felt dismissed. I felt like it was them trying to get time to think about what to do next.
Jones says instead of focusing on the bullying, the school wrote her son up for pushing a classmate who teased him. She posted a video describing what happened, and within hours, thousands were asking the same question. How does this happen inside the classroom? Lamar Consolidated ISD tells KPRC2 the district is investigating and saying, quote, our campuses are expected to be safe, supported environments where every student is treated with dignity and respect. Dr. Ashwani Tewari, Department Chair of Urban Education at the University of Houston downtown, says Texas law already lays out what should happen when a child reports bullying and where parents should turn when it doesn't.
If a 9-year-old is complaining about it, then we have to listen to that 9-year-old. There's a long line of research that if happens in formative year, that will have impact when the student goes in high school and in college. Those students tend to be, more depressed, suicidal in long run.
The district says they're doing a full investigation. Shai says that accountability means action, not apology. Now we have the full story on our website on clicktohouston.com. In Rosenberg, I'm Ricky Munoz, KPRC 2 News.
In the school, so sad. Let me just share the screen again. So he came home crying. Richmond mother says teacher's comments left her 9-year-old son humiliated. Lamar's CISD is investigating the incident. Let me see. I think this one, it plays the video she made. Let me see if it'll play for us. All right, maybe not. My screen is just acting up. If it plays, I'll go back to it. Okay. A Richmond mother says her 9-year-old son was walked into class looking for help and walked out in tears. She said the person who hurt him wasn't another student, it was his teacher. Now, Lamar Consolidated ISD confirms it's investigating, while education experts say the case highlights the need.
Richmond mother says her 9-year-old son came home from school crying.
Oh no, it's playing the same video. I was going to try to play where she did her like Instagram video. I'll try to go back to it. That's spinning. I hope it won't come back up. Okay. Highlights the need for stronger protections when bias-based bullying reaches the class.
Says her 9-year-old son came home from school.
Shy Jones says her son Chance had already been bullied for months. Other students at his elementary school mocked the way he walked and talked, calling him gay in front of classmates. Each time she reached out for help, Jones says the focus turned on her son instead of the students taunting him. Then came the day that changed everything.
You've got the new iPhone 17.
I don't know.
Pro. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet. A19 Pro chip and new center stage front camera. Sounds like a real frame changer. Touchdown! Looks like you called the right.
Okay, hopefully it'll stay. It won't come back on. He held the day that changed everything. He held it in all day, but when he got home, he broke down crying, Jones said. He told me his teacher said the reason kids call him gay is because of how he walks. Those words came from the one person who was supposed to protect him. Chance, who's only 9, says he was shocked and embarrassed. She said the reason people call me gay is because of the way I walk. It made me feel hurt and sad, he said. Jones says she immediately went to the school the next morning demanding answers. She says administrators told her they would investigate, but never explained what steps would be taken. I felt dismissed, Jones says. I felt they were trying to figure out what to tell me next instead of figuring out how to fix what happened. Days later, Chance was placed in school. My screen stopped sharing, y'all. Hold on one second. Days later, Chance was placed in an in-school suspension after pushing a classmate who mocked him again. Jones said it felt like the system punished her child for reacting, not for being bullied. She recorded a video describing what happened and shared it online. Within hours, thousands of parents across the country were reacting and demanded accountability. Our campuses are expected to be safe, supportive environments where every student is treated with dignity and respect. Lamar CID does not tolerate bullying, discrimination, or harassment of any kind. The district says its investigation is still ongoing and declined to discuss personal matters. The head of the department, chair of urban education at the University of Houston's downtown, says once a child reports bullying, the law is clear. The school must investigate immediately. When a 9-year-old said they're being hurt, adults have one job: to listen and protect, he said. Teachers must report it, principals must investigate it, and parents should document every step. She says under Texas Education Code, districts are required to adopt policies that prohibit bullying and outline how schools must respond to complaints. She also adds that when teasing targets how a child looks, talks, or walks, the situation can move beyond bullying and into discrimination protected under the federal law. This kind of behavior, especially when tied to gender expression or perceived identity, falls under civil rights protection, she said. Parents can escalate concerns to the district, to the Texas Education Agency, or even the Office for Civil Rights. She also says teachers need stronger professional development to handle these issues. Too often, educators don't know how to respond in the moment. They minimize it or try to explain it away, and that causes more harm, she said. What happens at 9 years old doesn't just disappear. It stays with the child for years. And it tells you here, let me share screen again, because this is important. It's telling you, let me see if it'll share again, exactly what parents should do. I hope it stays up. It says what parents can do if the school doesn't act. She says parents have both rights and tools when they believe a school isn't protecting their child. Document every incident. Write down the date, time, names involved, and a detailed description. Save screenshots, notes, or photos if available. Notify the teacher and principal in writing. Email both with the full account and ask for a written response, that starts an official record. Contact the district student services office. If the issue isn't resolved, request a meeting with district administrators. File a complaint with the Texas Education Agency. Parents can report potential violations of anti-bullying laws through TEA's formal complaint process. Report discrimination to the Office for Civil Rights. If the bullying involves race, gender, disability, or perceived identity, parents can file with the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. Support your child's mental health. Ask the school counselor for support, and if needed, find therapy outside of school. The damage from words can be invisible but lasting, he said. Jones says she's transferring her son to another school. Come on now. But she doesn't want the story to end there. I want accountability, she said, not just for my son, but for every child whoever's been made to feel less than by an adult they trusted. She says the hardest part isn't just what was said, it's seeing how deeply it changed her child. He told me he doesn't want to go back, Jones said quietly. He's 9. He should feel safe at school. And then they give you the information for the Texas, to help you out in Texas. I think that was the first time when we did one of these stories where they gave a lot of information on how you should handle it and what you can do. So God bless the person that wrote this particular article because they gave us some actions. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad to see that, because I was going to say, if it was my child, I'd take him out to another school. But I hope she continues with the fight, because it's true what they, with the kids like that, you grow up, and if you don't get some therapy and so forth and so on, it just escalates into something else, and it's all subtle, but it escalates to something else. So I hope she continues to fight, and get him in better education. That's it.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
This hit close to home because I experienced this type of thing from elementary school. And my parents went into a meeting with the principal, and his words were, he got right in my dad's face and said, if your son wasn't a gay, and shaking his, you could imagine the word, that's why I used it softly, he wouldn't be getting made fun of. Now, my daddy's from the South, Mississippi to be exact. One thing you don't do, you don't mess with a Southerner's children. My mom had to hold him back because he was ready to throw down. But I shared the story before, but I seen that principal 9 years ago. And I said, Mr. Fitzgerald, how you doing, sir? That was his last name. And when I tell you, he turned his head so quick in shock of how well I was doing and that I was working in the community. He said, oh, this guy. I said, yeah, this guy. And a friend of mine, it was his dad's campaign. He looked at me, he like, you good? I said, yeah. I said, you seen how he looked away, right? He's like, yeah. I said, I'm good. And sometimes when folks wish bad on you, you do the opposite, because when you thrive and they see you out in the community, they don't know what to do, because their karma is you living your best life. So I wish this young man all the best.
Thank you.
And that his blessings will be upon him. As for that teacher, karma is a bad mojo.
Thank you, Julius. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. StreamYard want to mess with me tonight. But yeah, I'm glad the mom is fighting, because it's far too many stories that people don't get the resolution that they need because they're backed off, or the school have this, the school have that, and we need more people to stand up like this, because if we don't, we ain't gonna get nowhere. Everybody just gonna cave in, just gonna give up. Ain't gonna say ain't no use because we ain't gonna get what we want anyway, this and that. We need people to stand up, take notice, pay attention, and stop throwing our little kids by the wayside and doing all this stuff to children. Children have feelings and they growing up. And the way you treat a child when he's a child, that's the way a child gonna act when they become an adult. And like I said, I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing, and we need more people to do the same thing. That's all I got.
Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva, like my picture says, I think that that scripture states it all for this story. It says, I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. Welcome to Texas, right? Texas is like that. We're not a gender affirming state. We're not any of that like love type of thing going. Wha- I appreciate everything that she did, but like everybody that know me on the channel, I'm kind of off a little bit. So I applaud her for what she's doing, but I hope that when her son goes to the next school that she instills in him what people think, what people say, it doesn't matter. Now, if this is bothering you to the point to where you're starting to lash out, then we need to see what's going on with you, son. Because yes, people say sticks and stones will break my bones, or words will never hurt me. That is a lie from the pits of hell.
Ain't it all?
Words do hurt. But it's how you take those words. What are you going to do with those words? She did the right thing by protecting her son, by taking him out of that situation. But I really do hope that she does that. One of the things that happened to my son in his 10th grade year, right? My son called me and he was like, hey, mom, this is when they could still have cell phones. He was like, mom, the principal said that it was a kid that thought my son said something terroristic to the school, but he overheard a conversation that my son and his friend group was having. So he went to the principal. Do you know that the principal wrote this up in his transcript, and then he told my son, well, it's just a warning. It's not that bad. We just have to write it and document it. I had to go up to the school, go up to the school board to fight for that, because my son doesn't deserve to get punished off of hearsay and what people think. So
Exactly.
like that article said, you go to the school, you document it. The school don't handle it, you go to the school board. And then the school board don't want you going to Austin. So they gonna try to fix this problem. But yeah, that's the thing in Texas. A couple years ago in my son's school district, and all my kids go to the same school district, a kid unalived himself because of this. And it was like Katrina was saying, they continue to ignore these kids, and kids do have feelings. Kids do have feelings, and we have to acknowledge that, but we have to also stop doing all the gentle parenting, because we have to raise kids up that can stand up for themselves, because we're the parents. We're not going to always be there. We're not going to always be the ones to be their voice. So we have to, yes, it was a good thing she did. But like I said, I hope she reiterates to him that he is wonderfully made. That's all I got.
No, that was a good message, because it's so true. And I do appreciate her for moving from that school. But as you stated, it may happen at the next school. So you gotta, and not that he should have to endure any of this, because he clearly told her, I don't even want to go back there. And I think 90% of it is because this freaking teacher, you backed the students up that was bullying him. So he does need a new school, but I also believe, yes, instill in him that, you know what, you're perfect as you are. And don't let nobody shake you off your ground. And I appreciate you for coming and telling me, and I will always have your back. And if I got to move your school 99 times, that's what I'll do. But these teachers, this one, she don't deserve to be a teacher anymore. I don't know if it's a she or a he, but the person doesn't even deserve to be a teacher anymore, because they're trash, if you ask me. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Okay, I've been following this story since she started putting the videos out. I've been listening to the updates and everything. Okay, so after this happened, Of course, they put her son in school suspension, which is what ISS is. And she went up to the school and she said, no, ma'am, he will not be in school suspension. We've told you about this issue. You didn't do anything about it. Okay, so then they take her son out of it. This teacher still is teaching there. She said, no, we're not going to do this. Okay, I don't want her teaching anymore. She doesn't have the capability to teach. Here's the thing. When we let these educators educate our children, okay, we expect our children to be safe in the school system. We expect you to have some kind of accountability that you're going to put on yourself when this stuff is happening. Everything in this situation told me that this lady thought she was the best or whatever, and she wasn't going to be held accountable. And the school was trying to hold that up for her. And this lady kept on fighting until she got what she was supposed to get, which was justice for her child. And it wouldn't have happened had she stopped like they wanted her to. They patronize you and make you feel like, oh, we're going to do something. And you don't realize that when these kids go through this, we always say sticks and stones may break your bone, but words don't hurt you. It does hurt you. And for a child that is growing up and now you're setting values for how they will live their life, you're instilling a value in them that they're not valued as people. They lose a part of themselves because they are kids. They can't contribute this stuff like we do. Their mind is not there yet. So for this lady to negligently uphold these kids' things and put it on him and say, this is your fault. A teacher that he loved up until this point. A teacher he was giving gifts to every holiday and stuff. He actually loved this teacher. For her to say, well, you're acting or this is why they're doing this to you. You're saying that they were right. And it's something wrong with him. And as parents, we can say all we want, that you are special, you are loved, you are wanted. But when they go into the world and people judge them, they start to think, is it because my parents love me that they think I'm this? But everybody in their world thinks that I'm this. So when we have an educator that's evaluating that, you're breaking the kids. At 9 years old, he shouldn't have to deal with this. This should not be an issue for him. We need to stop telling our kids to suffer through stuff. They shouldn't have to. They're kids. Let these kids learn how to grow up and be successful, not with scars and triggers and trauma. I'm so tired of kids growing up with trauma. It's enough. These school boards suck. You did literally have to take stuff to social media to get it to happen. Because these school boards hear it every day and they don't have an answer for it. So they just put it off on somebody else that don't have an answer for it. And you run around in circles until you put it on social media or it gets on the news, and then they're blasted and then they want to stand up and do something. I applaud this lady because it was not no level of going to the school board, speaking to the student services that was going to get anything done had she not put it on social media and it been a big story.
Appreciate you. Thank you, in my opinion. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, thank you, Diva, and good evening, everyone. I've got a lot of thoughts, but I'd like to share, and I appreciate what you shared with us, Julius. I'd like to share something that's happened to me in my old life, okay? Because what has happened to this child is wrong, it's brutally wrong, and it was unnecessary. I think what happens is that people want you to be afraid. So he trusted his teacher. He thought the teacher liked him and cared for him. And then the teacher showed who she is. And he didn't know how to handle that. I wouldn't expect him to. Now, for me, in the American workplace, I had a manager. I got a manager who called me in to tell me at this point in my life, people are uncomfortable around you. You're uncomfortable around people. You said something bad about so-and-so mother. What? I could not possibly figure out where this was coming from. I don't even know what she's talking about. So what I did was I responded in writing, because you could do the verbal back and forth. It goes nowhere. But when you're in the American workplace, because what I'm saying is, just because you graduate out of school and finish, it doesn't end, folks. It keeps going. You keep running into these kinds of situations where you're being judged, stereotyped, defined by someone who may have more authority over you. So I say you do everything in writing. So you memorialize such a conversation, of which I did. And I outlined what I believe were her biases and her stereotypes and her poor judgment and so forth and so on. And I must say, they did nothing. They allowed her to continue to do what she does. But I continued to document. But these things don't change. And this is why I support 48 when she says, well, what's the mother going to do now? How does she now instill and encourage her son to understand that he has to take ownership for who he is in any space, because these people are so cruel. Particularly, they always say children are very cruel. But when the authority in the room is also cruel, the mother did what she had to do. She had to go against the adult authority. And I think she did very well. And when you're in the American workplace, you still have to go against the adult authority. And you have to have great courage, because what's on the line now is not just your education or your activity or your socialization. It's also about your money and how you're going to take care of your family. Do you respond in an aggressive way? Because there are people who get to fighting on the job when stuff like that go down. Yes, they do. So you have to obtain those skills all through your life, because one moment, one day, one situation, you're going to run into it, and you're going to have to know how to handle it. You don't allow other people to define who you are. So I'm glad this mother got a new school and a new opportunity. I certainly suggest that she have her son in some counseling. I had educational counselors for all my kids. They went to a therapist all the time. So go in there and talk. And if they had something I needed to know, the therapist would come back and let me know. Because this world is cruel and it's heartless. And it doesn't matter your title: teacher, doctor, mother, father, pastor, bus driver. It happens all the time. And for you young sisters out there in that American workplace, here's my message to you tonight. It doesn't go away. There's still cliques. There's still people who whisper, still people who judge, people who don't like you just because you know how to do the job, maybe because you know how to be on time. I mean, it's just something as simple as that. You know how to come in and say good morning and say good evening. You don't go maybe discuss your personal life. You don't have a bad boyfriend downstairs in the lobby saying he's going to F you up. You just don't know what it is.
That's true. Come on, talk.
I got a dear friend of mine worked at the airport, and, she had to wear the all blue. And her coworker had great disdain for her. And finally, one day she says, well, what is it? She says, I want your shoes. We're at that place where you might be thinking, oh, this person doesn't care for me because of this. And it's not that. They're just deeply rooted in some kind of dysfunction and some kind of hate. So I hope they do remove that teacher, but she's probably going to go over and infect somebody else's kid. She's going to do damage someplace else because she needed to be retrained and reprogrammed, because she was in a critical moment in her life where she could have loved and protected a child, and she failed to do so. With engaging in negative behavior with other children. She told them it was okay to be insensitive, to be cruel, to be mean, to be judgmental, that it was all right.
Yeah.
And it isn't. But these people are everywhere and they don't go away. So as an adult, if you encounter it, it's going to take great bravery, but document it. And you keep documenting, because that's your only survival in this place when you have to deal with these bullies, these harassers, these retaliatory spirits in the American workplace. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I appreciate what you added to this conversation, and it connects with 48 to say you got to teach them now, because it's never, it happened in this school, but as you said, an adult, it happens in the workplace, and it's real. It does. It happens in the college. It happens in the high school. So we do need to build up some skills on how do you deal with it. But like I said, I did love that particular article because it gave you step by step by step by step. And we have done many stories like this, but a lot of the stories, a few of the stories we did, the child ended up taking their life. So God bless that this did not happen in this situation, and this mother stepped in and she wouldn't let up, and she took her kid to another school. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and roll into this last story. Hold on one second. I'm going to take you back first to when it actually happened, and then I'm going to take you to present time because the individuals were arrested.
A news alert as we come on the air here this midday. You are watching 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Josh Sidorowicz in for Courtney Robinson. Right now, students and staff at Hernando High School, they are mourning the death of a student. A district spokesperson there tells us that she was shot and killed overnight. We want to get right to 10 Tampa Bay's Chris Rogers. He is live in South Brooksville, where we know she lived. She went to school. Chris, what are they telling you out there?
Well, Josh, as you can see, this scene is still very an active one. You can see police still here on the corner of Hazel Avenue and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard as this investigation still in those early stages. What we do know is this community is mourning the loss of 17-year-old Hernando High School student Isabella Scavelli. Friends and school staff describe her as outgoing, joyous, friendly. She was an athlete. She played on the tennis team at Hernando High School. One friend we spoke with this morning gave us permission to share these photos of Isabella to remember her life. Let's get you up to speed on the investigation. Deputies responded around 11:30 last night after reports of a double shooting. When they arrived, they found 2 people shot, but the shooter was nowhere to be found. Scavelli later died at the hospital. A close friend who we spoke with today says the shock is still setting in. She had just spoken with her friend last night on Snapchat, and she remembers her as a bright and outgoing person. The grief, as you can imagine, is overwhelming.
Just wish she was in a better place, before any of this happened, mentally, because I know she was going through stuff personally, you could tell, but I never really asked her because she's always laughing and joking.
A spokesperson for the district says the grief counselors are on the campus right now, and they will be available for students for as long as they need them, as this community mourns the loss of a teenager who had her whole life ahead of her. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 5 and 6. For now, reporting live in Hernando County, Chris Rogers, 10 Tampa Bay.
A news alert as we...
So sad. So let me bring you up to date. Let me stop sharing there. So man 37 convicted of hiring his cousin to kill girl 17 a day after she reported him to police for SA. So that's why she was killed. Isabella 17 was murdered a day after she filed a police report accusing 37-year-old Leonard White of SA. A Florida man accused, I hate when these ads are playing on side. A Florida man was accused of sexually assaulting a high school student, then having her killed when he learned that she reported him to the police to police is heading to prison. According to a press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida, a federal jury convicted Leonard White, 37, of all charges filed against him for his role in the 2023 murder of 17-year-old Isabella, who was shot dead in front of her mother at their home in Brooksville, a city located 50 miles north of Tampa. White is now facing multiple mandatory life sentences after being found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, witness tampering, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of discharging a firearm in furtherance of a violent crime, and a single count of possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. The jury also found the man accused of fatally shooting Isabella, 22-year-old Sheldon Robinson, guilty on those same counts per the release. White and Robinson will return to court for sentencing on January 30th, 2026. Those are the 2 that were responsible for taking her life. Isabella was in her junior year of high school at the time of her murder. She was a member of the high school's tennis team and involved in the ROTC program. With prosecutors stating at trial, she had hopes of joining the military after graduation. On February 6, 2023, Isabella and her mother, LaShawn Pope, went to Hernando County Sheriff's Office to report that Leonard White had sexually battered her, according to a motion to serve filed in the case and obtained by People. Prosecutors said in their opening statement that the following day, on February 7th, Isabella and her mother were at home when someone knocked on the door just before midnight. Isabella answered the door and encountered Robinson, prosecutors said, who fired a barrage of gunshots into the home. The bullet that ended Isabella's life struck her in the back as she ran away from the front door for help, said prosecutors, according to the press release. LaShawn was struck several times before she collapsed on the ground and watched her daughter die. Officials were unsure if LaShawn would survive after arriving at the scene and quickly had her airlifted to a hospital in Tampa to be treated for her injuries, according to a motion for detention filed by prosecutors and obtained by People. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives began their joint investigation the same night and soon identified Robinson and then White, his cousin, as a person of interest in the case. However, it would still take 8 months for prosecutors to have enough evidence to file charges against the men. Prosecutors says that those efforts were greatly bolstered when the weapon used in the murder was discovered buried in Robinson's yard 6 months after the shooting. At trial, prosecutors alleged that after learning Isabella had reported him to police, White offered to pay Robinson $6,000 to carry out the murder. White then left the state and traveled to Georgia so that he would have an alibi, prosecutors said per the release. Further complicating matters was the fact that White and Robinson repeatedly attempted to hinder that investigation by disposing of evidence, tampering with witnesses, obstructing justice, and making false statements to law enforcement per the prosecutors. Prosecutors also alleged the 2 men discussed plans of having another witness against them killed during the investigation. White and Robinson pleaded not guilty to all charges at trial, while a third individual who had accompanied Robinson on the night Isabella was killed, Keyshawn Woods, previously pleaded guilty to all charges after confessing to the crime. He has yet to be sentenced. Lawyers for White and Robinson did not respond to People's request for a comment. This is so sad. She reported it and now she's gone. Wayne, your thoughts?
I'm going to pass on this one, Dee.
No problem. Julius?
I'm glad he's convicted. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'm glad he's been convicted. My heart hurts for the mother.
Yeah.
She was injured too in that ambush. That's all I can say. I can't say nothing more.
No problem. Katrina, your thoughts? Katrina, are you there?
David, the StreamYard is messing with me. Go ahead with this. I'm sorry, darling.
48, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really sad. And to me, the most disturbing thing is that, like, you said that they knew who it was, like, when they came to the door, right?
Yeah, they knew who it was.
Why did it take so long to get him?
That's what I don't know. I think they arrested them, but I think you know what? Let me not make stuff up. I don't know.
Like, she was in a damned situation. Like, from the moment she reported it, it just makes you upset, because it's like she did everything right.
Yeah.
And her mom did everything right, and she still end up losing her life. I That's why, like, I be saying, for me, the justice system, yeah, it needs to be revamped, because people need to get consequences that'll scare other people from doing these kind of crimes. You telling people you taking somebody's life and he still gets to live. No, how about like we do firing squad too? I think they still do that in Utah. Or like we do in Jamaica. You steal something, they chop off that hand that you stole from. Or like they do in China, when you do something wrong to a child, they cane you. Like, those the kind of punishments I think that we need to start having, so people in this country, the criminal part of this country, could get it through their mind that the crime that you do needs to equate to the same kind of consequence. I'm tired of people harming people physically and it's nothing happening to them. It's no consequences. It's just like lawless. Like, if the person that's running the country can break the laws and don't give a damn about the laws, he's setting the tone for everybody else in this country to not give a crap about the laws and other people. Like, I don't even know what to say, because the justice is not going to equate to this young girl's life. And who knows if it even be fair. Hopefully she gets a judge that's fair and will give him the max. Is he getting the max? Is he getting life or something?
Their sentence is not until but with all the charges, they was found guilty of everything. I think they are going to get several life sentences. And they're not being sentenced until January of 2026, next year.
But this is California, right?
No,
California?
I
No.
did it. Now I lost the state. I forgot now.
Well,
It's in Florida.
Oh, Florida's a deep state, so hopefully he get the deep penalty, because I think that's the only thing fair. And then you taking advantage of a kid, and you a grown tail man, and you taking advantage of a kid. Yeah, we need to just go on and take you up out of here, take you up out your misery. Yeah, that's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Oh, okay. So there was so much in that story.
Yeah.
So much. And there was so much missing as well. Am I wrong to assume that the 37-year-old has a previous record?
No, you're not. I'm sure he does.
It seemed, based on what you read to us, it seemed that he immediately panicked and decided he had to take her out. It was like there was no, he hadn't been arrested. She just filed a complaint with her mother, right? And he reaches out to this cousin who clearly has no purpose in life. At 22, he thought it was a good idea to go knock on people's doors and take their lives. And then we have was that the driver? The one who pled guilty to everything?
I'm guessing so.
So what? He probably was all of 19. Okay, so you, as 48 said, you got this old man. He's old and beat down and looked horrible in that boat. And he's encouraging young people who have no purpose, they have no purpose, to go out and do this kind of destruction, this egregious behavior to another family based on a complaint, not a verdict, not an indictment, on a complaint. So this is why I'm sensing that he had a previous record. He was probably one of these predators. And remember, you can go ahead and Google your zip code and know, all of those predators in your neighborhood. And you'll be surprised, some of you, how close they are to you. This is what I'm believing this 37-year-old was. And so he then leaves the state, right? He left and he goes to Georgia, and they're playing all of this tampering with witnesses, obstruction of justice, probably threatened the one that was driving, right? Telling him, because they said in the story that they were plotting to take another witness's life. Well, wouldn't that be the driver?
Well, no, maybe somebody else that saw, because the driver, or it could have been the driver, because the driver immediately pled guilty.
Immediately pled guilty to everything, even the intent to sell the cocaine. And talking about that, what was all over the mouth of the 22-year-old?
That's what I was thinking too, Felicia.
So these men had nothing going for them. And they probably grabbed her on the way to school. And God bless her courage, and God bless her mother for believing her. But they didn't know how dark and how wicked and deadly this man was.
Yeah.
I suspect he's a drug dealer because he had the cocaine on him, and he also had access to a lot of cash, right? So he was able to offer $6,000 to the cousin who he thought this was going to be his big moment.
Right.
So in closing, I'm glad it was Florida. I do hope they get life terms, no parole. Let me make sure I add that. Life, no parole. I don't believe in the death sentence. I don't. But I do believe life in prison and no parole. I don't care how many people you trained, you tutored. I don't care how many degrees you earned. I don't care how many letters of apology you sent. I want you away forever. Forever. I'm done.
Thank you. And you know what? They didn't say, Felicia, but the other person he probably could have tried to been threatening getting rid of the witness is the mother that lived.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
And you know, when you have people in communities like mine, you don't necessarily have the ability to get up and move right away.
Right.
And when somebody's bold enough to come to your door and knock on it, they didn't kick it down, they just knocked on it. Oh yeah, that's real fear and real terror coming to your door.
Oh my God.
They got him.
Yeah, they got him.
Amen to the prosecution team. They said it took 8 months, but they found the gun in the yard, right?
Buried in the yard.
They didn't walk away. They didn't say her life didn't have value. This is something that's taking up too much of our time. They stuck with it and they got it.
Yeah. The friend broke my heart too when she spoke. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Let's be clear. These weren't men. These were monsters. To sit here and say your life is only worth $6,000 is sad. But to say that somebody would throw away their life for $6,000 is even worse. I don't really care about the death penalty when it comes to these monsters. Y'all could stick a needle in them and they could be done. I don't really care. I feel like they're a waste of space. We shouldn't have to pay tax dollars to feed them, to clothe them, and to house them. You should just go ahead and take them on out. They've been trashed for a while. It's apparent in the way that they carry themselves. I don't like this one bit. I really don't. I don't care if this was his first time or his 5th time. I feel like these are the monsters that would do anything to get away with their crimes. And I'm glad they didn't get away with it. I feel like it's extremely sad to know that this baby left here at 17 when life was just beginning for her. Her sophomore year. I can't understand where this world is coming to, where our children are not even safe going to school and from school. And where life is traded for dollars.
I appreciate you, in my opinion. Well, I'll stay connected to see what the sentence actually is, but I believe they said they're facing like consecutive, like life sentences. You know, the Toddler that died, I will stay connected to this story. This teacher from that school, she needs to be fired. I appreciate y'all for spending Wednesday night with the Diva. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, do the Diva a favor. Please hit it on the way out. I'll see you on Thursday night for Trending Topics. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.